So if you saw my video earlier about how the Catholic Church basically came in here and created a bunch of nursing associations, they had their Catholic nursing associations, and actually before that, they're really responsible for American Nurses Association. There isn't a direct link there, but the very first president of American Nurses Association, prior to creating that organization, was in Rome for 2 years training under the Catholic nursing training. Yet that's American Nurses Association. So then that's created, that goes on to create International Nurse Council, okay, at the UN. At the same time, you have the Catholic Church then telling their archbishops and bishops to go out into all the dioceses and get the Catholic nurses together, get them as an association, then merge all those associations as one. And it's almost like and then it wasn't just with the nursing profession. They did it with everything in medicine. I'll show that in a minute. But I wanted to show how really they all tie together, because you could look at the Catholic Church as only coming in here to take America down. I know that there was people, again, I brought this up before. There were Americans back in the day that really, a lot of Protestants and Presbyterians, a lot of the founder type people, everybody likes to call them racist. No, they knew what they were fleeing when they let, the Church of England, and they recognized the Catholic Church as that. There's been a lot of people saying differently, but no, they didn't change what the Catholic Church came in here to do, because they don't get most of the Bible right anyway. They don't even know how to dress properly. They don't. God didn't want all that dressing in robes and stuff. I've mentioned it a million times, because Jesus mocked the Pharisees for that. So, but besides that, it's why would you have the Vatican? They're the biggest Catholic church in the world. Why are they getting involved so much in medicine and nursing? Well, back in the day, we had all these Catholic hospitals, right? And so it seems like, oh, well, no, they're so good, and they're the most generous organization. No, they've abused the most children. I mean, most people know that by now, right? I mean, do you know how much parishes are coming under fire? Like when Trump came into office, but even before him, 10, 15 years ago, it was on national news everywhere how we're moving these priests around. So there's been a pandemic of child abuse within the Catholic Church, and I saw what Catholic Charities was neglectful. They didn't care about those kids, the kids in the state system. And yet the very place they were in, where I worked, the nun who's still there, okay, she's a lying lawyer nun that's been there forever, yet she has a crisis nursery there. That just scares me. These people should not be around children. But they tied with the state, have been over time bringing the socialized system in here. Because think about it, why would the Vatican, I mean, it's not like the Protestants or the Presbyterians are out creating a bunch of nursing associations. No, the Catholics came in here with an agenda that we're going to take America into socialism. We're not going to let America have her freedom. And that's why American Nurses Association and Catholic Nurses Association align when they talk about global health and international health. If any healthcare worker out there doubts this, just pay attention that next time you read any nursing journal or medical journal, how often they use the words diversity, equity, inclusion. I don't mean all of those words, but how often in their papers. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, because they use them over and over again deliberately. They're manipulating people to get on board with socialized medicine and the socialized government. They tell you whatever they have to, because it's about destroying America. And that's how they're doing it from within, is using the health associations. So the other biggest thing you'll notice in their papers now is they don't care about national sovereignty, and they don't want you to care about it either, because they don't want you to care about America's Constitution. But I'm going to tell you this, America's Constitution is the best thing for health. Their globalist plan has nothing to do with caring about global health. That's ridiculous on the face of it, as I always say. It's best to focus locally on what you can do as a nurse or doctor. But what these organizations are doing is pulling you in, and that's why you do all these international conferences, many people. Because they want you to think, because they want you to stop critically thinking. And so that's why they constantly want you to advance your education, because they've dumbed down the socialists got into the universities a long time ago, and slowly over time have been dumbing Americans down. But nurses usually are taught, if you went to a decent school, to critically think, which means you're not having people tell you what to think. You should be thinking on your own, which is why before I read this paragraph, just want to mention that maybe everybody in the medical industry, if you're tied to an association, maybe just step back for a couple of years, see how you feel. See if you can't think differently. It's an experiment to try, right? So this was written a while ago, okay, and you can see here Reverend F. Garshi, but this was always their intention. So see here, plans for an International Catholic Guild of Nurses have long been maturing in the minds of those who are directing the Catholic Hospital Association of the United States and Canada. Just as this association has been greatly instrumental in interesting Catholic hospitals in the program of the American College of Surgeons for Hospital Standardization and has acted as clearinghouse for the special problems and needs of the Catholic hospital system, so it was felt that an International Catholic Guild of Nurses would be equally beneficial to the interests of the nursing profession in general, especially to the graduates of the Catholic training schools. So we don't have a lot of Catholic hospitals anymore. I think there were so many, they're still around, they just aren't out there like they're Catholic anymore. Because as it said, USA and Canada, I said last night what healthcare system Canada has. They have the same healthcare system as North Korea. They have rationed healthcare, single payer, which is exactly what the associations of nursing and medicine are pushing here. So they're not about health. They may be nurses. They may have graduated and been pulled in by these socialists, but these people, they don't stop. Just go look up Bill Ayer's history and his wife, okay? It's just two of men, but they're everywhere. They hate America. They'll tell you straight up, we're communists. We don't like America. We don't like your Constitution. We don't care if you don't like it. We're going to destroy your country. Obviously mentally ill. But this was so designed because the Catholic Church, that's why they came in, to create all these associations, all these hospitals. And it really wasn't about the church, even though that's the excuse they use, because, again, they have abused the most children and have continued to do so. Because what communists hate is Americans, because they hate your freedoms. It's a mental illness, it really is, because if you look up the history of communism, it's very demonic. I mean, because it always leads to a genocide. When socialism finally fails, genocide. The communists sit back and do one of these while the socialists destroy a country, because they know the socialists are eventually they're going to destroy all the resources. You eventually run out of other people's money. So that the communists sit back and say, yeah, we've seen this before. We know the socialists will fail. And when they do, the communists come in. And then that's just... So that's why the two always go together. So in the highlighted part here, it is well to emphasize that one of the purposes of the guild, the nursing guild, is to encourage its members to take an active, energetic part in the work of the American Nurses Association, the League of Nursing Education, and other existing general associations of nurses. Hence, there will be no competition, but rather cordial cooperation with other societies of nurses. Other societies of nurses. And if you go on, I'm not going to read all of it here, but it just talks about voting, because everything these people write about, whether it's American Nurses Association, American Medical, Catholic Nurses Association, it's about global health. It's about international health. And the reason American Nurses Association and these two collaborate is because it's about one goal, and it's about destroying American nurses. They want migrant nurses to come in. That's why they've never fixed any nursing problem, because there's plenty of nurses. They just hate America, and they don't want you to have jobs in your own country.